Hey guys, how's it going? It's me, Flatter Sage, coming at you with another video. And today I wanted to share with you what I think is the biggest game-changing soil amendment insecticide fertilizer that you guys have ever heard. And I think it's a super underrated method, and I'm not really seeing too many people talking about it. And some of you probably have already heard of it if you've been gardening for a few years now. And that product's called DE, diatomaceous earth. And I believe I made a couple videos on DE in the past, but I actually stumbled across this method just completely by accident. I had a bunch of ants on my eggplant. And now I think most people know that ants are arthropods. An arthropod is any creature with a segmented body. So things like spiders, ants, what else? Spider mites. Really anything with segmented limbs, or I guess torso. So I saw those ants crawling all over my eggplant, and I was like, oh no, this is not good. So I already knew that DE was super effective against arthropods. In fact, what actually happens is when the DE basically grinded up, powdered up, pulverized seashells, and it feels like a fine powder in your hands. Like you can feel it. It's so soft, and I honestly just love. It's kind of weird, but I just love touching it and feeling it. It feels really good. But actually, under a microscope, it's actually jagged and super sharp. And so when this powder makes contact with the arthropods, arthropods have, I think everybody knows, an exoskeleton. The exoskeleton is basically protection from the heat. It prevents them from drying out, and it protects them against predators as well. So when this powder gets onto their exoskeleton, it gets up underneath their exoskeleton, starts making them feel like uncomfortable, like I don't like this. So they're really only left with one other option, and that's to shed their exoskeleton. And once they shed their exoskeleton, they're pretty much done, kaput. They're immediately susceptible to the elements. They'll probably dry out really quickly, if not picked up and eaten by a predator immediately. So basically, once they shed that exoskeleton, that's pretty much it for them. They're goners at that point. So I use that, but I didn't want to put it on my plants, on my leaves. I feel funny about putting liquids or powders or anything on my leaves. So what I did instead, because I know that that under a microscope this powder is really jagged, really coarse, and would probably tear up their feet and make it very uncomfortable for them. So I was like, I wonder, I'm just going to experiment a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of the powder, I'm going to coat the surface of the container where the soil is with this powder, and I left it on there for like a day or two, and I came out the next day, not a single ant on that plant at all. They're all gone. And then of course it's still on the surface. It's on the surface of my soil just chilling, and because we don't get rain that much, I have to do something with it, right? So I watered it into the soil, and it breaks down and enters into the soil really easily, really quick, because it's a fine grinded powder. And now we get into the whole aspect of the fertilizer and the soil amendment, which was the part that I was not aware of. Now, don't get me wrong. Stuff like seashells and stuff like that, I know they contain calcium, calcium carbonate. But I didn't know if it would work well as a nutrient additive to the soil. Because sometimes, like people like to put crushed eggshells and stuff like that, but it's not really that effective, and it all boils down to the surface area. And what I was forgetting was that there's very, very limited surface area on this powder, which means that it can break down in the soil relatively quickly and be accessible by the plants relatively quickly. Now, the benefits of this stuff, because I already mentioned that it obviously is calcium carbonate, it basically adds that calcium to the soil, makes it bioavailable for the plant to uptake. And for those of you who don't know, having calcium in your soil is super, super important. One of the main reasons why calcium is super, super important is because it prevents things like blossom end rot. Now, anybody who's experienced blossom end rot knows exactly what I'm talking about. You'll have a fruit, and you'll look at the bottom of the fruit, and it's rotted, molded. And this is usually caused from a lack of calcium. So with that, I know right off the bat that since it's mixed into the soil now, that very soon that calcium will be available for that plant. Not only is there calcium, but there's also magnesium as well, which is very, very beneficial for the plant as well. It's another one of it's what they would consider a micronutrient. And along with that, it's also got iron. Iron's super, super important for plant health. Basically, it if I could be wrong about this, I'm not as well versed in iron as far as plant nutrients go, but I believe that it allows for the plant to be able to uptake nutrients a lot better through actually from the roots all the way up. And so you got that as well. And another thing that it does, because it's adding all those good things to your soil, it's reducing abiotic plant stress, which is super, super important. When you reduce the abiotic plant stress, your plants are gonna maximize yields. Excuse me. Is maximize yields, and should definitely like I was saying, reduce the blossom end rot as well, which is very depressing thing to see on your fruits that you get excited to go harvest only to find out that it's rotted at the bottom. And calcium will definitely help with that as well. It'll help in overall just flat out fruit set. It'll help to encourage, to strengthen that knuckle where the flower is that connects to the stem. It'll help strengthen that. And also, so that's pretty much it in a nutshell. It's a great soil amendment. If you haven't tried it already, go ahead and try it. It's then the kind that I'm using is 100% organic as well. That I should also specify that they have food grade DE, because believe it or not, it's put in a lot of different food additives as well. It's completely safe. I believe to like it's definitely safe towards smaller children, adults, probably dogs and cats as well. Oh, and also one last thing, it works really good for fleas as well. So if you're experiencing flea issues or anything like that, DE would be the way to go. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to share with you guys. Completely stumbled on that by accident. And I will definitely keep you all posted on the updates, on the progress that it's made on my plant. So yeah, if you guys are experiencing like a lack of nutrients, like you're lacking in calcium, you're battling ants, go ahead and give DE a try. It's very effective. It works very well, and it's used by a lot of different gardeners. So I just wanted to share that little tidbit of information with you guys. Hopefully you might have learned something. Hopefully you might have learned something different or something new today. If not, thanks for watching the video at least. Hope all y'all are doing well. Peace.